Sounds like Joe Biden thinks it's time for you to start feeling bad for him. He's out with another one of his folk tales on his pretty rough go-around in the Washington swamp. Watch.
I was listed, had the great pleasure of being listed as the poorest man in Congress for 36 years. I still had making a hell of a lot more money than anybody else because I was getting a senator's salary. No kidding. I didn't think you should make money while you're in office.
Oh, poor Joe. Imagine having to live in a smaller mansion, like his almost 7,000 square foot secluded mansion in Wilmington that's worth just around $2 million. I mean, just look at the place. He's had to live there since the 90s. So sad. And Joe's so poor that he could only afford one beach house, just a 6-bedroom mansion in Delaware, which cost him a measly $3 million. Obviously, his poor salary wasn't enough to foot the bills, but don't worry, Joe can still afford all of that, thanks to Hunter, who's kind enough to pay off Joe Biden's bills when he's in office, like his renovations at his Delaware home or his private phone lines. Hunter's even giving his dad half of his salary. He's on record saying, quote, "It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop," meaning Joe, "I won't make you give me half your salary." In exchange, all Joe has to do is meet with Hunter's business partners, like with shady businessmen from Kazakhstan at the Cafe Milano in 2015, or with one of Hunter's Chinese partners in the lobby of a hotel in Beijing when Biden was out on an official vice president's trip, or even going golfing with some of Hunter's Burisma buddies. That's all he has to do. And millions will keep flowing into the Biden family bank accounts, and even the poorest man in the D.C. swamp can live a pretty lavish life. Matt Schlaap is the president of the American Conservative Union, and he joins me now. Matt, thanks for being with us tonight. You know, Joe says he ended up the poorest man in Congress, yet he bought these houses when he was in Congress. How does that happen?
Yeah, he did. He bought, a big mansion in Wilmington. He became a millionaire while serving the United States Senate for those 36 years. He left government a millionaire. And then what happens, Judge, to Democrats these days when they leave office is they are richly rewarded. And Joe Biden earned millions and millions of dollars, something like $16 million in 2 years. We saw this with the Obamas, who earned something like $40 million on book advances. Susan Rice, who's now back ensconced in power. And Joe Biden became an awfully quick, it's like Jiffy Pop. He became a very wealthy man in a short period of time. How convenient he's back in power to help out all of his friends.
But, you know, it's really kind of amazing, Matt, that he would actually come out and say, I was the poorest guy in Congress, when the facts and the reality of what you can see with your own eyes belie what he's saying. So then you say to yourself, well, his son is under investigation, at the very least, for tax evasion from, according to reports, if not money laundering, et cetera, with countries that are really on the front burner of issues today in America. I mean, but it doesn't matter. He can come out and say all these things, and there's no consequence to Joe. Who's investigating Hunter other than the IRS?
Well, that's right. And I think, look, this is what's before a future Republican majority in the House and the Senate. When you have someone like Jim Jordan who's looking to get the gavel at the House Judiciary Committee, they're going to have to press very hard into this Biden incorporated corruption because, the laptop was overlooked by the elite media, and now everyone's starting to dig into these emails, and it's not a pretty picture. It's a picture of the most in-depth corruption that I think we've seen, certainly since Watergate, and I think they're going to have to look into it. This is not going to be a pleasant experience for the country when we realize what they've been up to.
Well, and you know, the frightening part of it all is obviously when the mainstream media and big tech decided we shouldn't read about Hunter Biden's laptop, and 51 so-called intelligence officers came out and said this is Russian disinformation. There's no consequence to them. It's almost like the American people would have to say, you know, I don't believe anything anymore because now we know the laptop has and was Hunter Biden's laptop. Have people lost faith in this country?
Yeah, well, they definitely lost faith in the news media, at least this elite, supposedly mainstream news media. They have the worst numbers, worse than like used cars salesmen and politicians. And remember, the polls that have come out on the laptop show that up to 17% of Biden voters would have not voted for him had they understood the level of corruption. So it's not just the Zuckerbucks and all of the election malfeasance. It's also the fact that the media uses its power to cover a story or cover up a story to pick the candidate on the left they favor.
It's a shame. It is a shame. Matt Schlapp, always good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Judge.
All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.